winter revolution at Manchester City has begun. 4 deals have been placed on the club's table, including a defender, a striker, and a right winger whose signing has already been decided to strengthen the squad. In return, 7 players will leave the club, some in January, others at the end of the season, while another has refused to renew his contract and decided to depart. Now, we present to you the players who will leave, those whose contracts will be renewed, and also the new stars expected to arrive. Welcome, my friends, to the B-Part Sports Channel. Stars likely to leave. Claudio Echeverri. Manchester City have loaned the Argentine forward Claudio Echeverri, aged 20, to Spanish club Girona for the remainder of the season, pending completion of the final paperwork. The deal does not include a purchase option, as City are hoping for his return. Echeverri spent the first half of the season on loan at Bayer Leverkusen, but he did not receive enough playing time, which led to the arrangement being ended early. Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish spoke about his future with Everton, confirming his strong desire to remain with the team on a permanent basis after the end of his current loan spell from Manchester City. Grealish said, "I would like to stay here after this loan. This place feels like my home now. I hope an agreement can be reached that allows me to stay at this club that I have fallen in love with." This confirms his insistence on a permanent departure. Nathan Ake. According to the British network Team Talk, Nathan Ake's name has become a major focal point in the winter transfer market. The Dutch defender is under the watch of 4 English clubs: Fulham, West Ham, Bournemouth, and Crystal Palace. All are closely monitoring his situation at Manchester City, where his role has diminished, opening the door to multiple possibilities. On the other hand, Manchester City are not closing the door to the idea of his departure. The management are open to selling the player if an offer of £25 million arrives. A clear figure and a direct message to the market. Bernardo Silva. The player is approaching a turning point in his career with Manchester City. Press reports confirm that Juventus and AC Milan have placed the Portuguese star on their radar, preparing to move as soon as he enters the free agent market next summer. However, the decision is not linked solely to contracts. Silva's spell at Manchester City has reached its peak, and his role is no longer capable of further expansion. Therefore, the option of leaving becomes logical from a sporting perspective before a contractual one. At the same time, the player himself is seeking a final challenge in his professional career. Savinho. Tottenham have reopened the Savinho file through the winter window. The British newspaper, The Sun, confirms that Spurs have renewed their interest in the Brazilian Manchester City winger after last summer's attempts failed. At that time, Tottenham submitted several offers, all of which were rejected by City's management. But the picture has partially changed. Tottenham have decided to allocate €150 million to fund their winter transfer business, with a clear plan to sign 3 players, led by Savinho. In contrast, Manchester City's stance remains the main obstacle, while Spurs are moving this time with a different budget and a more decisive intent. Oscar Bobb. The player is entering the circle of interest ahead of the January winter window. The Daily Mail reports that the Manchester City winger has come onto Crystal Palace's radar at a sensitive stage of his career. The 22-year-old recently returned to the first-team squad, but his involvement stopped quickly after he suffered a hamstring injury during the midweek clash against Brentford. Nevertheless, the injury has not cancelled the growing interest. Several clubs are monitoring the situation of the Norwegian international, while Manchester City are open to considering offers made for him. In contrast, Crystal Palace appear as one of the most serious parties in trying to complete the deal. Bobb has featured in 15 matches for City this season and provided 1 assist. Limited numbers, but they explain why his future has become an open file. James Trafford. The goalkeeper's ambitions quickly stall at Manchester City. The keeper arrived last summer looking to establish himself, but the lack of regular playing opportunities has changed the picture. According to Football Insider, Trafford is seriously considering leaving during the winter market in search of minutes he is not currently getting. The movement has already begun. Wolverhampton, Newcastle United and Tottenham have shown interest in the goalkeeper, given their need for a ready option between the posts. However, Manchester City's position is clear. There is no intention to sell the player midway through the season. So, will Trafford wait until the summer, or will the picture change? Marc Guéhi. Marc Guéhi is expected to become a Manchester City player within the next few hours. According to ESPN, Guéhi underwent his medical examination today ahead of completing his move to City officially. Guéhi had agreed to join Pep Guardiola's squad after City decided to pay £20 million to Crystal Palace. Dayot Upamecano. Manchester City are quietly testing the Upamecano option. Press reports confirm that City have shown interest in signing the French defender and have opened initial talks regarding the possibility of bringing him in on a free transfer. However, the picture at Bayern Munich is different. Extending Upamecano's contract remains the most likely scenario at present, which reduces City's room to maneuver. Therefore, the situation turns into one of waiting and evaluation. Marc Guéhi. Manchester City have set Marc Guéhi as a defensive target for next season. The club remains committed to the idea of signing the Crystal Palace defender as part of a clear plan to strengthen the back line. But the path is not easy. The competition is purely English, with Liverpool leading the race for his signature, especially given their defensive struggles this season. The Times adds a decisive dimension to the picture. Guéhi's contract with Crystal Palace expires in June 2026, which opens the door to a free transfer if the situation is not resolved early. Here, calculations intersect between timing and need. Mathys Iturbe. Manchester City are moving early to settle the player's situation. Journalist Santi Auna reveals that the club are keen to sign the young French winger, a France youth international and a player at Troyes, part of the City football group. The interest has not remained theoretical, as City have presented a detailed development plan for the player's pathway, signalling a long-term vision. Concrete steps have already been taken. Iturbe has visited the club's facilities, reflecting the seriousness of the project being offered to him. However, the road is not completely clear. Monaco have placed the player at the top of their priorities, while Italy's Roma are closely monitoring the situation. Here, the competition intensifies. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Guardiola identifies his next target in central midfield. English reports reveal that the Manchester City manager has placed Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, the Everton player, among his priorities to strengthen the midfield. City view Dewsbury-Hall as a complete midfielder, capable of giving the team greater balance and adding energy and attacking effectiveness without disrupting the core structure of play. Therefore, his flexibility to operate in more than one position carries added value, in line with Guardiola's tactical demands. Here, the picture becomes clear: a technical need matched by ready-made qualities. Players set to renew their contracts. Joško Gvardiol. Manchester City opened the Gvardiol file early. English reports confirm that the club's management have given top priority to renewing the Croatian defender's contract in response to a direct request from Pep Guardiola. The move reflects tactical conviction, not merely a precautionary step. Pep is pushing to secure Gvardiol's future with a long-term deal that includes improved financial terms, in recognition of his consistent performances and his defensive and attacking role within the system. Therefore, City are seeking to close the file before the summer to avoid any open scenarios. Phil Foden. Manchester City settle the Phil Foden file before it enters a sensitive phase. The club are close to securing one of their biggest stars by extending his contract for a longer period, in a move that reflects clarity of vision and proactive management of major files. Team talk confirms that Foden has no intention of leaving City and that an agreement has already been reached between both parties. The move came at a calculated time. Foden's current contract expires in June 2027, prompting the management to act early to avoid any future pressure or open scenarios. My friends, thank you for watching.